Hello guys, this is Nexus Speaks. I don't know why I get so freaking nervous, to be honest. But today's segment, I have a thank you letter to Black Americans, to African Americans, and yeah, it's it's way overdue, but it's better later than never, I guess. And as someone who comes from the continent but has upbringing here, I feel like the thank you is it's something that is imperative. Um, yeah, it's knowledge itself, and we're the only ones who can activate that for ourselves. But when we have an environment and people who pour into us and really prioritize stewardship and like their every being, it's like, you know, you can't help but to say thank you, especially in most moments that life is really up in your ass and like breaking in lessons. You're also getting poured into, and when you're not used to that, it's like, well, where did this come from? So this comes from the bottom of my heart, and here we go. Dear African Americans, I'm writing this letter to say thank you, not just for inventions or art or revolutions, but for the way you turned survival into science, oppression into innovation, and power into pain. This is a thank you for the Black genius that has shaped the world, even when the world refuses to see it. Thank you for the inventions born from necessity. The ironing board designed by Sarah Boone to ease the labor of black women, for blood banks created by Charles Drew to save lives even as he was denied his own. Thank you for George Washington Carver, who carved peanuts into 300 possibilities, and for Maroons, who turned swamps into sanctuaries, hacking the system masterfully. And thank you for the revolutionaries and Jimmy, who led the Stone Rebellion with drums in defiance, for Toussaint Louverture, who turned slave revolts into black power, for Zumbi dos Palmares, who built 20,000 person liberated zones in the heart of Brazil. Thank you for the Buffalo Soldiers who fought for a country that did not fight for them, for the Tuskegee Airmen who proved black excellence could force desegregation, for Black Panthers who turned open carry into open care, feeding children, healing communities. You didn't just resist, you wrote the rules. You turned oppression into algorithm for freedom and liberation. Thank you for the culture, for the way you turn one drop of drama into a whole entryway and diving board into all the genres we can find in America. For, well, the most important genres, but for turning pain into poetry, Langston Hughes to Kendrick Lamar. Thank you for the Gullah Geechee, who preserved West African grammar and their words and linguistics, for 5%ers who turned Islam and numerology into a blueprint for Black consciousness, for Afrofuturists who imagined Wakanda before the world was even ready, and collapsing systems that were never built for us just by being, and really giving the world upgrades. The world is the Earth's toothache, and find a way to soothe that toothache, even if you feel like it's very not in a scope, not in the realms of what you would deem natural, what you would deem healing. Always ends up healing. So, thank you for the future, Dr. Mae Jemison, who carried the dreams of Black boys and girls into space. And passing for the Black revolutionaries who built cyber armies in in cities, in suburbs, and countryside, but mainly designing and architecting and imagining Afrofuturist cities, and passing the torch from Harriet Tubman to Lisa Garza, coding a new underground railroad and doing it ethically, making, via institutions, via decentralized cooperatives, and thank you again. Thank you so much, Black Americans. I know it's not something that others should do for you, like when it comes to telling your story. And I really love seeing the variations of different styles that people are able to express and accentuate the indigeneity to Earth in general. But, everybody's creation story, basically. And nobody should be denied the right to express what they feel their people's creation story is. That is what tribes are about, One tribe could have just been a whole nother tribe before, and then a few people broke away, or it was two tribes that merged and made a new one. And with that, they had their own story. They could tell their people on the origins of where they came from, So, next section. Thank you for the inventions, the revolutions, the culture, the future. Thank you for showing us that liberation isn't a destination. And to the ones carrying the flame today, like me, your work is the next fractal into the continuum. It's just a drop into the continuum, but it's an essential drop. We need more voices, and especially when it comes to empirical data. Need voices. The world may not always see you, but the future will be built on your blueprints. And this next section, I am going to read out the complete set list, and please let me know if I missed any.